So thanks for tuning in, guys, to the very first drivers only live chat. I call it Let's Talk About Cars and Trucks. So my name is George. In case you guys don't know, I don't say that a lot in my videos, but I'm George, and I'm glad that you guys are here. This is the very first one. I did a poll a couple times, and you guys seem to have a lot of questions. I get questions all the time through my comments. So hopefully this one I could answer a lot of them for you guys. So let's get started. Hopefully this is a lively chat. Anything goes, and we'll just do this and see what questions you guys have. Well, first of all, Hugo says keep the review coming. Subaru reviews coming. So I do know that a large portion of my audience are Subaru fans, and in general, I think Subaru just has a very good following. Out of all the brands I've reviewed, Toyota definitely has a big following, but right behind it, I would say Subaru. Subaru fans are hardcore. They really love their Subarus, and there's good reason for that because Subaru makes some good cars. So I know that the recent video that I put out, the 2021 Crosstrek, has done really well. A lot of people are very excited about the new engine and also the new trim level, but just in general, there's a crowd for the Forester, crowd for the Ascent, especially the WRX and STI. A lot of stuff. Hopefully the choppiness kind of calms down. So I'm glad you post a lot of Toyota videos. Yeah, I mean Toyota, you really can't go wrong with Toyota. Honestly, most Toyota videos do well. A lot of people really love Toyotas. And right, it's kind of to be expected, right? Because Toyota, everyone knows Toyota for their dependability, their reliability. Some of their cars are not the most modern, doesn't have the most tech, doesn't have all the latest gadgets, but one thing is that they'll have a high resale value and they last a long time. That's why people keep coming back to them. So, review the C8. I would love to. So I've been asking. First of all, I don't have any partnerships with any Chevy dealers. I'm trying to get that going, but I've been asking Chevy themselves, manufacture fleet loans, to get a C8 because I've been seeing a lot of other reviewers pass them around and they haven't gotten back to me yet. So hopefully I can get a C8 because I just hear it's amazing. So I gotta get my hands on one and hopefully keep it for a week and enjoy that thing. What is your Instagram? Well, if you search for Instagram, it's drivers only, but it's 2 underscores. Underscore before, underscore after. To be honest, I haven't really kept up with Instagram for drivers only. I don't know. It's to get it going on Instagram is just a lot of work. I do have a lot of photos, but I haven't really kept up with it. I should though. I should. So, but if you want to look me up, you can. Just underscore drivers only underscore. One of the earlier questions from Saul is, what is up with people buying so many SUVs? What happened? Well, that's the trend. That's the general trend that's been happening for quite some years now. It's funny. I went to review a X3 today. And it just seems like, BMW, their cars are supposedly the ultimate driving machines. They kind of translated all that magic and they put it into their SUVs now. So, they know. I mean, manufacturers know. Everyone wants like a bigger car that still gets great fuel economy, but could haul a lot more things, people and things. And, that's the way the industry is going. And plus, you get all-wheel drive and stuff like that, which traditionally you don't get with sedans. But there's still some very good sedans out there. But unfortunately, the market for sedans is just shrinking. No, I wasn't invited to Chevy's unveiling in Vegas. Honestly, my channel, has been doing well, but I'm still one of the smaller guys. And when they did the C8 reveal, I had maybe only like 30,000 subscribers at that point. So a lot of manufacturers didn't really pay attention to me. It's only recently, I would say within the last, really, I would say the last 6 months or so, that I've started talking with manufacturers themselves, because I got started by working with the dealerships, like the dealerships around me, because that's the only way for someone to get started. Because if you're a newcomer in the space and you go straight to Toyota or whoever and say, hey, can I borrow your cars for review? They're like, who are you? They're not going to give you a car to review. And, so you got to build up audience first. You got to build up the views, and then they'll trust you. It's kind of the same thing. So I haven't really been invited yet for a lot of these major events, including the C8 one and several other ones. There was a Cadillac one earlier this year too. There was a lot of them. Genesis had one with their GV80. There's a lot of these invites that I was invited to, but hopefully, after COVID and lockdown, kind of once that calms down, maybe next year I'll start going to a lot more of them. But I went to one of them for Toyota with their unveil of the Camry and Avalon all-wheel drive. That was an amazing experience. That was in Utah. I didn't even know you could snowboard or ski in Utah, but you can, and that was a really beautiful thing. Even Aston Martin had an SUV. I mean, everyone has an SUV. Lamborghini has an SUV. I mean, kind of tells you, right? Everyone goes SUV, is going the SUV route. My wife, a 2020 X3, no steering feel, but it's quiet and smooth. Honestly, the 2021 X3, two major changes. They're very small, but I think some people will like it. Number one is Android Auto is now standard, which in 2020 was not available, and blind spot monitoring cross traffic alert is now standard too. Overall impression of the X3, just to give you a little preview, I thought it's a pretty good SUV, but I think you're right about the steering. I'm surprised because in terms of driving dynamics on the X3, very good. I like the suspension. I like, the acceleration, the quietness of the cabin, the comforts of the seats. I think for the most part they're good, except the steering. I felt, very. There's not a lot of precision. There was a ton of play in the steering wheel, so that caught me by surprise. But yeah, stay tuned for a full review. I should have that out in a couple of days. It's the first time I reviewed a new BMW. In fact, I've been reviewing a lot for luxury cars. I've reviewed, Lexus, a lot of Volvos, even Acura, but not many BMWs. But those will start coming. Hugo said, "Can we make a video together? Maybe. Email me, and we could talk. It's george@driversonlyrankings.com. The 2021 TLX, the Type S. The Type S is coming back. I'm actually looking forward to that. I mean, right now, if you look at Acuras, the problem is you have the sporty A spec, but it doesn't have the top trim level. I think it's the premium package. I forgot what the top trim level is, but there's no combination of both, and that's what the Type S is. So it's kind of weird if you look at a trim level for Acuras right now. So you have like the base, and then you have the A spec, and then you have like the luxury or premium trim, but you can't combine the A spec with the premium trim together. And I forgot the exact name, I apologize, but the Type S just combines both, right? And not only that, you have a lot of new models because most Acuras these days, they've been out for a while, right? The TLX is definitely a new one. MDX is coming right around the corner. RDX been out for 3 years now, right? So there's going to be a lot of new exciting stuff for Acura. Hugo, it's George at driversonlyrankings.com. Chad Harrod has a quirky review style and low views per video, but seems to get impressed press vehicles. I mean, some manufacturers are more open than others. For example, Toyota and Lexus. I say they started it for me before I started working with other manufacturers. So maybe that's the reason. I don't know. And some channels, you know, they've kind of lost the favor of YouTube algorithms. So you see they have a ton of subscribers and they work with a lot of manufacturers for their fleet vehicles or press vehicles, but they don't get a lot of views. So there's a few that I've noticed in the automotive space that's like that too. So it kind of depends. If you had $55,000 at your disposal, what would you go and buy right now? Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. For $55,000, you're definitely talking about a luxury car, right? So something like a low-end luxury compact SUV, or possibly a fully loaded compact SUV for in the luxury segment, or possibly a base mid-size SUV. I don't know. That's a tough one. Honestly, I reviewed a Model Y recently. Actually, my friend. And he's in this channel right now. I bet you guys could guess who owns that Tesla. But that Model Y was pretty darn impressive. I reviewed a lot of Teslas before, like the Model X and even the Model S. You know, they were impressive in some ways, but very lacking in other ways, like functionality, practicality, how the overall driving experience. They were just lacking. But the Model Y kind of perfected that. There was very, very little faults with the Model Y. So if you're looking at $55,000, that's right there. If you get a base long-range Model Y, that's about $50,000. If you add in the full self-driving, that's another $8,000. That's about $58,000. So I would say for that price range, I would get a Tesla Model Y. Now, a lot of you guys have, you know, range anxiety, and I do too, honestly. So if you're looking for a non-EV car, I mean, there's just a lot out there. I think the XC60 is a really, really nice SUV. Same thing with the X3 that I just reviewed. I mean, there's a lot in this space. Toyota, I mean, Lexus RX 350. You know, there's a lot of in this space. And if you want to go trucks, you know, the Dodge Ram, the 1500, Ram 1500, that's an amazing truck. It's an amazing truck. So that's also in the 50s, and it could go up there from there too. So there's a lot of options, honestly. There's a lot. What do you think about the Voyager? The Voyager is good. Chrysler, I mean, I'll tell you, Voyager is basically like a upgraded Pacifica. Wait, Voyager, I may be getting confused. Yeah, no, Voyager is the lower end. I think Pinnacle is their upper end. But just in general, the Pacifica, what Chrysler has done with the minivan segment with the Pacifica has been impressive. You know, after reviewing many Odysseys and driving Siennas and then test driving a Pacifica, I honestly thought the Pacifica was the better minivan. You know, the Stone Ghost seats can't be beat, honestly. So easy to fold the seats down. You got plenty of room. You got all the latest gadgets. And plus, the drive of the Pacifica was also very nice. Very nice. The steering, I remember, was spot on, and overall, it was just a good minivan. So the Voyager and I'm sure the Pinnacle, I think, are they're both going to be very nice driving cars. And the Odyssey hasn't been updated, so I reviewed the 2021 Odyssey, just a small little facelift, but overall drive is about the same. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad, but we'll see. The minivan market's going to get hot You know, the new Sienna's coming out, but it's a hybrid only, so I'm not sure how that's going to do. I reviewed that hybrid drivetrain in the Highlander, and the Highlander hybrid, I'll say, is much, much, much slower than the V6. So in essence, like the acceleration is going to be greatly downgraded in the new Sienna. So we'll see. We'll see how it is. Yes, Vegas has the right idea. If you guys haven't hit the like, hit the like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. What happened to all the manuals? Yes, Type R. 2021 is the last year for the Type R. I'm sure Honda will bring back some version of Type R in the future. So they're just taking a break, but they're preparing for a new Civic, which is coming out in 2022. So I mean, even this SI, there's no SI for 2021, and they axed the coupe, and basically, yeah, like all the manuals, you know, not just with Hondas, but in general, everyone's getting rid of it. And it's unfortunate, you know, the people these days, they don't really want to shift their own gears. And it's just, it sucks because it really makes the drive fun. Like, for example, the Type R that I reviewed recently, the 2021. I had the most fun with that car. And Honda did a brilliant job to make the shifter butter smooth. Same thing, the clutch, butter smooth. Everything about it was so good. So good. But yeah, you see in the comments that people are like, hey, I want to see a dual clutch one, or I want to see an auto one. I'm like, no, you don't want that in that car. You know, you're just ruining the experience. And it's a really good one if you give it a try. But unfortunately, that's the way, you know, things are going. That's why the Accord manual is being axed. The Civic Coupe with manual is being axed. You know, a lot of things get cut. So, and there's no SIs for 2021. So SIs are all manual. So those are all cut. And other manufacturers, like, look at Mazda. You know, Mazda really has, besides the Miata, everything else, there's no manuals. They axed them a long time ago. Manuals just not, it's not the thing anymore. Still, you know, about my Ridgeline, I'm glad you're happy with it. You got the 19. Hopefully you did the door hack. That's a major one. You know, actually that really helped propel my channel. You know, when I started this channel, I reviewed, you know, my Ridgeline, and it wasn't doing so well. And then I did the door hack, and then that really like caught on. And then my Ridgeline video caught on and kind of really propelled my channel. But the 19 is good. You know, you still have your standard 6-speed, because in the 20s they moved to the 9-speed, I believe, with the button style shifter. I'm not a fan of that. There's just no reason for that. But they did do the door hack, you know, for 2020. But anyways, do I still love it? Yes, but it's a lease car, so I'm about to get rid of it. In fact, in about a month, it's going away. So I don't know, you know, if you're going to ask me what car I'm going to get next, I don't know. I really don't know. I've reviewed so many cars now. I'm very, very picky about what I want now. So I'm always like thinking, you know, what to get next. But I really enjoyed the Ridgeline. Had it for 3.5 years, actually. And it's been perfect. I had no issues with it whatsoever. Fuel economy isn't bad. I used the bed plenty of times, especially going to Home Depot and hauling things. So it's been really good for me. The Type R wheels feel very special. Everything about the Type R felt special. The brakes, the large Brembo brakes, the wheels, they were lightweight wheels. I mean, it's just a Type R just looks a certain way, right? So it's really hard to be, I would say, above 35 and still daily drive a Type R. But it would definitely be a very, very fun weekend car. Yeah, I really love that Type R. to be honest. I'm asking Honda if I can get the 2021 limited edition Type R, which is the last year and has that Phoenix yellow, and a few things have changed. So I don't know. It's very, very limited. I think there's only 600 units. I doubt they're going to get it in their press vehicle fleet, but we'll see. The 2021 WRX, yes, but it may be pushed back to 2022. So a lot of these manufacturers, because of what's going on with COVID, and dealers still have not sold their 2020 inventory, right? So a lot of the 2021 stuff I'm hearing is pushed back. So that could be, it could be a weird thing where some 2021 cars, maybe they were supposed to be 2021 cars at the beginning of the year, but they're pushed back to the end of 2021, so then they become 2022 cars. So I've been hearing a lot about that. Some manufacturers still on schedule. They don't care. They just go still follow schedule. But some manufacturers have been hearing rumors that things are going to be pushed back. I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, the WRX is supposed to be new, based on a new global platform. Same to the STI. It's going to be new. So we'll see. But I mean, honestly, they need to change. I mean, in my opinion, if you compare something like a Type R with the STI, there's a big difference between the two, and there's no doubt I would put my money on the Type R versus the STI. There's no question. So we'll see. The new WRX could be amazing. Same new the STI. Emil, appreciate that. 2021 Sequoia, what do you think? Well, the Sequoia is one of the ones that's not changing, right? So Toyota's redoing their entire like truck SUV kind of their segment, right? So they're starting with the Tundra first. So I hear Tundra is coming 2021, end of 2021. And rumor has it that the Tundra will be getting rid of the I-Force V8 and going with the twin turbo V6. So I'm not sure a lot of people like that. I'm not sure people like getting away from V8. I mean, just look at the Raptor, right? Even though the Raptor is an awesome truck, the number one complaint is put in a V8. So the next gen Raptor supposedly will have a turbocharged V8 pushing over 700 horsepower. But still, people want a V8 in a truck. So I don't know. Toyota has used the I-Force V8 for a long time. Same thing with their other V8 in the GX series, but rumor has it they're getting rid of it. So the next gen Tundra is coming out in 2021, and then everything else will follow. Like the Sequoia is supposed to come out in 2022, utilizing the new drivetrain and utilizing the new Tundra platform. So we'll have to see. I mean, the Tundra has been out, for 10 years? 10 years? More than 10 years? And it's still using the same platform, using the same engine, transmissions. Really, nothing has broken, but there's still a very loyal crowd for the Tundra. I mean, it's funny. You look at all these reviewers talk about how the Tundra comes in last in terms of fuel economy and tech and all that stuff, but man, people still buy Tundras left and right because they're just reliable. They don't ever break. So this new gen, we'll see how it is. I don't think the S2000 has ever come back. The Type R fills that role, right? So I don't know if they're gonna bring back a S2000 ever. It's a nice name, right? Again, the previous S2000 has a really, really large cult following, so maybe they can, bring it back. But with the Type R, there's just absolutely no need to do so. But who knows? Yeah, Toyota could compete with the T-Rex and a Raptor in that niche. I just don't think they want to. I mean, they have the TRD Pro, but, TRD Pro was never meant to compete with those guys. TRD Pro is like a step down from the Raptor. So, like the Ram 1500 Rebel competes with the TRD Pro. So I don't know if Toyota's gonna go all out and compete with the big boys with a new Tundra, maybe. But right now, that's not what they're going after. Yes, the Type R does have rev match, and that's what makes it even funner to drive, or more fun to drive, because you just want to downshift all the time. That's what I was doing in the video. I don't know if you caught it. I was just like, I just want to downshift for no reason because it just feels and sounds so good. And that fake sound in the Type R actually was really, really good. Like, you can't tell that it's fake. Thoughts on the Mazda 3 Turbo? I'm guessing it's going to be a big improvement, right? So one of the things with Mazdas, at least with the Mazda 3, and then also with some of the SUVs, right? They felt good, but they needed a more powerful engine, right? So that's when the CX-5, when it got the new turbo engine, it made a big, big difference, right? So I'm thinking the Mazda 3, it looks amazing. It's a really unique round hatchback, but the current one was so darn slow. It did not fit the characteristics of it at all. So I'm assuming the new turbo one, which I haven't driven, I'm assuming that makes a huge difference. Huge difference. So we'll see. I did review the Venza already. So I don't know if you caught that. Honestly, the Venza was, I thought I would be more impressed with the Venza than I was. Oh. I see my connection is cutting out a little bit. I apologize. But honestly, I thought the Venza would be more impressive than it was, because the Venza is really like kind of like a upgraded RAV4, and I thought it would be better. I honestly thought it would be better. They did make it look better than a RAV4, but it's using a RAV4 hybrid powertrain. It didn't get improved, so very similar feel. The size didn't get any bigger. Even though it's 6 inches longer, but actually lost cargo room and passenger room for some reason. I mean, it does look more unique on the outside. It looks kind of like a Lexus, like you said, but I don't know. I wasn't impressed with it. Let's just put it that way. And I do think the high price tag will hold it back. So it's not really like the old Venza. So I'm not sure what Toyota was going after, because they're trying to market it as a midsize SUV. It's not. It's really not. It's more a compact SUV, and it's more expensive than the RAV4 hybrid. So I'm not sure if there's going to be enough people that's willing to pay a premium for just the looks. Yeah, the Prelude. I remember the Prelude when I was growing up. That was besides the S2000. People couldn't afford a S2000. They get a Prelude for the 6-speed. And I've always heard, I've never driven one. I've always heard that the Prelude was actually a really fun car. And people are begging Honda to bring it back, but they're not. They're not. Two-door coupes are going away. 6-speed manuals are going away. So there's no way that Honda's going to bring out like the Prelude back or S2000 back for that reason. They're concentrating on SUVs and more SUVs. Your thoughts: Kia Celtos or Neon Rogue Sport? I haven't driven or reviewed a Kia Celtos, but I have driven a Nissan Rogue Sport. The Nissan Rogue Sport is better than people think it is. It's actually a really impressive car. Off the top of my memory, the only problem with the Rogue Sport is there was very, very, very little legroom in the second row. Nissan goes a long way in terms of providing like most bang for the buck. So the Rogue Sport, I remember it was quiet, it rode well, it did pretty much everything well. It had all the tech features. The only thing I remember was that it was a little lacking in the second row legroom and also a little bit in the cargo room area. But outside of that, it's a very good one. And even a CVT in there, which most people balk at because Nissan had some issues with CVTs. But that one was actually drove pretty well. In your opinion, what's the best compact car? Car or SUV? Because I've driven a lot of SUVs. Now, in terms of compact car, I would say probably the Civic. The Civic. Actually, I shouldn't say probably. It is the Civic. The Civic, like if you wanted a compact car, like a Civic sedan, you know, even a base one, it's very, very nice. Very, very nice. It looks good. It's very big. A Civic is big. I mean, you're talking about almost mid-size SUV big. It's very big. Like, way bigger than, say, a Corolla. You got plenty of space. It's comfortable. The seats are comfortable. You know, the dash and cabin, a little bit dated these days, but still, it gets the job done. And, you know, overall, you can't go wrong with Civic. Still, high reliability, dependable, good engines, drives well. I would say a Civic if you're talking about cars, not SUVs. Model Y is not a compact car. I've driven the Golf GTI, and I was very impressed with it. Very impressed with it. I haven't driven a regular Golf, but the GTI I did. Very impressed with that. Had a really good balance. You know, it's one of those little cars that really felt like you're driving a go-kart. Like you're really in control of it, really nimble. You know, it turned like it was on rails, so it's nice. But I haven't driven just like a base form of it. And the Golf is also, you know, MK8 is coming out pretty soon. It's already released in Europe, so that's coming out. I believe as a 2021 model. It was supposed to be a 2020, and then they moved it back to 2021. So we'll see how that is. I mean, the looks still kind of looks the same, right? So it just depends on, I guess we'll just have to see how it is. But I think right now, I really love the Civic. I think Honda pretty much perfected the Civic. And a new one is coming right around the corner, so it'll be interesting to see. Model X 75 2017 or GLE AMG 2018. AMG is almost 10K cheaper. Yeah. I mean, I can't comment on the GLE AMG. Never driven that before. But Model X, I haven't driven the 100, not the 75. Model X is good and it's bad. There was some questionable things about that Model X. For example, the third row seats. Very confusing to fold down. The fold down buttons are hidden for some reason. And you have to make sure you move the second row up before they can fold down all the way. And fold them back up is quite difficult. Getting into the third row is difficult unless you have the captain chairs. Also, noise level in the Model X was extremely high. Just a ton of cabin noise for whatever reason. But outside those things, you know, the Model X still drove like a Tesla. It was still insanely fast. Had all the technology, you know, autopilot, all that good stuff, right? So, and, you know, it has a really minimalistic design cabin, which some people like, right? I still like the dual screens in the Model X compared to the Y. But, you know, Mercedes, they're known for their luxury ride and cabin, but I haven't driven and plenty fast with the AMG, but that's a hard one. I mean, honestly, I'm starting to come around on Teslas, so I would lean more towards a Tesla. Also from this fact is that resale values on Teslas are doing very, very well. They're really well. They're holding their value really well. So that also plays into it. Do you get too much attention when driving high dollar cars? Is annoying? Not really. Not really. I mean, where I live, everyone's driving luxury cars, right? So when I'm driving, unless it's a really, 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 you know, expensive high-end cars, no one pays attention. I mean, the last one, the 2021 Lexus LC 500 convertible, that was a special car. I love that car. 100,000 plus. Now that one was different. When I was driving around, yeah, people were looking because it's so unique looking. It's a very unique looking car. But all these other ones, these luxury cars I've driven that 80, 90, 100,000, you see them every day around where I live. So I don't get too much attention in them. I saw reviews of the automatic, any manual. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the LC convertible, or are you talking about another car? The LC convertible does not have a manual. It's just automatic. You missed out. You missed out, Tesla. Are we getting a new manual on the new 2021 Golf here? I certainly hope so. The dual clutch transmission in a Golf and just in Volkswagens in general, they're good, but they're not nearly as good as the 6-speed. I drove a Jetta GLI. And that was using a dual clutch. And I did not like that. I did not like it at all. They geared it completely wrong. I thought I would like the GLI better. But it just wasn't good. But when I drove the GTI Golf with the 6-speed, very, very nice. Very nice. So, yeah. So hopefully they do have a manual on the Golf. Otherwise, it'd be a big disappointment. The Cybertruck. In fact, I'm making a Cybertruck. Tesla XYZ actually helped me create a Cybertruck video. I put $100 deposit down. Why wouldn't you? It's $100, right? But here's something I don't think people think of: $100, and according to estimates, there's 1 million deposit. On the 1 million deposits have been made on the Cybertruck. So you do 100 times 1 million. That's $100 million that Tesla already collected for development of the Cybertruck. That's pretty amazing if you think about it, right? But yeah, Cybertruck looks amazing. I don't know if it's really gonna be that amazing. Here's the thing, though. It's one of those things, like right now you look at it and it looks amazing because nothing else looks like it, right? Just like when the first Teslas came out. You're like, ooh, that's a Tesla. Just like when the first iPhone came out, you're like, ooh, that's an iPhone. But if you start seeing every person start driving a Cybertruck, it's going to lose that appeal, right? So if it does, I'm not sure if anyone's going to buy it. So that's the thing. I think the major appeal right now is it looks like a complete different kind of truck, like an apocalyptic kind of truck. But if every person out there starts driving a Cybertruck, it's lose that appeal really fast. So we'll see. When do you think the new Toyota Corolla Cross will make it here stateside? I think it'll be pretty soon. I think Toyota is one of the manufacturers that's not really delaying their schedule. I covered this video with a leaked roadmap, and I think they're sticking with it. But the Corolla Cross should be announced pretty soon. On the roadmap, it talked about a new kind of CUV, and that turned out to be the Venza. And they talked about a new Corolla Cross. So that should be coming. I don't know if that's going to be announced this year or earlier into 2021, but I think that will come. And honestly, if it comes, it's probably going to replace the CHR, which has not done well at all. It has a funky look, and sales on the CHR just isn't good. So they might just use the Corolla Cross to replace the CHR, which most likely they will. I don't think they're going to have a CHR and a Corolla Cross together. They'll be too close. So I think that's what's going to happen. What do you think about the CX-5? I just bought one. Congrats. I like the CX-5 a lot, especially with the turbo engine. Really gives it some oomph when you're driving, right? It really separates it from the crowd too, because there's not that many compact SUVs that actually have a powerful turbo engine. So this is good. It's definitely one of the good ones. I have a video labeled Best Compact SUVs, and that was in it. That's one of the top ones that I thought was just really good, really good. What do you think about Mazda's rotary engine? I don't know. Growing up, I watched all the Fast and Furious movies, right? RX-7 with the rotary engine. You could really tune it, but I've always heard, they weren't too reliable. So I don't know. I don't know. I just remember the RX-7s. They always had a good amount of horsepower, but very low end torque. That was always the problem. So, yeah, I don't know. What's the best turbo engine out there? I can't really answer that. There's so many out there. Ford makes some very good EcoBoost engines, but everyone is catching up. Right, but if you look at Ford's lineup, pretty much every single engine is a turbo engine. Turbo i3, i4, V6. They're gonna come out the turbo V8 pretty soon. They have made their entire lineup all turbo engines, so good for them. Because if you look at GM and Fiat, FCA, they're still trying to catch up. They're coming out with some good engines, but still a lot of them are still using non-turbo engines. So I think Ford has done a really good job with turbo engines, but other manufacturers are starting to catch up. Like, for example, if you look at Toyota and Lexus, they have no turbo engines other than the one in Supra, but they borrow that from BMW, right? They have basically no turbo engines, but they're about to. They're about to go all in because the next gen trucks and SUVs are all going to be turbo. All right, guys. I think that's it. For my very first live chat on here, I think it went pretty well. Hopefully I answered a lot of your questions. But I think it's time to go. Next time, I think I'm going to do it again, probably around the same time, but I'm not sure if I want to do it a Friday night or maybe on the weekend. I think maybe weekends will do better. 2021 Chevy Spark comes with a manual. It's the cheapest new car in America. Can you review that sometime? Yeah, maybe. I don't have any partnerships with any of the Chevy dealerships around me, so I'll try. But if I get a hookup with Chevy, I know I want to review the new Tahoe first. I did review a Yukon, and that was amazing full-size truck or full-size SUV. And the Tahoe is pretty much the same, but it's a lot cheaper. So I'm going to review the Yukon. I want to review the others in Chevy's lineup, and maybe eventually get to the Spark. All right, guys. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. I know it's a little jerky at times. My connection wasn't always so good, so hopefully that won't happen in the future. All right. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for my new review videos. My next one will be the BMW 2021 X3. That should come out this Sunday. All right. Have a good one, guys. Have a good weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.